Play holiday games and make crafts, or just enjoy the beauty of the zoo covered in lights at their annual Holiday Lights event every Friday and Saturday night in December, right up until December 22nd. It's the most wonderful time of year at the Chattanooga Zoo. For ticket pricing and information, go to chatzoo.com.
Celebrate the holidays at the Chattanooga Symphony and Opera's annual family tradition, Home for the Holidays, December 15th and 16th at the Tivoli Theater. Enjoy a concert filled with lively and classic holiday tunes from the most wonderful time of the year, as the CSO is joined by the CSO Chorus, Metropolitan Bells, and guest vocalist Dee Danasco. Pictures with Santa will be part of the festivities. Tickets are available by calling 423-267-8583 or online at chattanoogasymphony.org.
The station you hear everywhere.
Cougar Radio 92.7.
Good morning, beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall. City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department. From the valley low to the mountaintop, give you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Oh, man, I am so fired up today. My soul is on fire. And why is my soul on fire? My soul is on fire because I'm determined, come hell or high water, no matter if it's popular or if it is not. You know, I don't have the freedoms I have because African-American people before me did what was popular. They did what was unpopular. They challenged the status quo. They fought a system. They insurrected. They rose. There was a rising up of the people. And it wasn't people like Dr. Eleanor Woods, this pitiful excuse of a leader, supposed leader. I wouldn't even say she's a leader because I've never seen her involved in any justice work. The NAACP here in the city of Chattanooga, unfortunately, is not the reason that we have a city council. It's a grassroots organization, Concerned Citizens for Justice. Isn't it funny how people want to give props to folks who haven't done any work? And meanwhile, the real work, the real warriors, the real people who have been on the front lines, they're not even remembered. We're going to talk about it today. 800-8949 is always the call-in number. Always the same. Streaming live, Nougat Radio 92.7 FM Facebook page, as well as YouTube. And today is going to be a tough conversation because what we saw last week, I broke the story of Interstate Tax, or Charles Deshaun Toney, which is his name, who was brutally beaten while in handcuffs. And understand something, and let me be extremely clear. Your constitutional rights say that you have a right to due process. If you are accused of a capital or infamous crime, let me pull out the playbook today. A capital or infamous crime, which is a crime that equates to over $20, you have a right to know who's accusing you. You have a right to see them face to face. You have a right to their information, all of the evidence against you. You have a right to not incriminate yourself, right? Double jeopardy. You have a right to due process, which means that they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you've done what they said that you've done. And no officer has a right to take any authority of judge, jury, executioner into their hands. And I don't know, but Hulk Hogan standing over this tall yet skinny guy, beating the crap out of him. Now, let me ask you a question. Can I tie your hands behind your back and beat the crap out of you, and that's a fair fight? And are you going to allow me to do that? You're going to let me tie your hands behind your back and then beat the snot out of you? And you're not going to fight back? You're just going to not resist? Oh, the language that people have, the ridiculousness. You do know that it's just a natural instinct. It's nothing that your brain even thinks about. It's a natural instinct for you to want to survive. It's a natural instinct for you to want to protect yourself. That's a natural instinct. Your brain does not even process that. That is called fight or flight. Have some of you guys even gone to college? Ever read a book in your life? Because you can't if you don't even understand just the basics of survival, which is nothing your brain has to think about. That's just who we are, how we're wired. We're wired to survive. And so, of course, nobody's going to stand still and let somebody kick the snot out of them. Of course, nobody's going to stand still and get punched and punched and punched and then kicked. And then this officer is going to whine and complain, oh, he bit me in the finger. You see, people in power should really be afraid that right now that the people are docile, that for now Americans are just comfortable, desensitized, that we see this happening again and again and again and again, and we do nothing, and again, and we talk on Facebook, and again, and we do nothing, and again, and we say nothing, and again, and we don't talk to nobody, and again, and again, and again. I believe a day is going to come where there is not going to be an again, but that the people will fight back. And considering that this city, not even a county, but the city has almost 200,000 people in it. Can you imagine 500 officers trying to go up against 200,000 people? Even a quarter of that? They wouldn't win. And so they depend on your docile behavior. They depend on your desensitized nature. They depend on your silence. They thrive off of your inability to stand up on your 2 feet and open up your mouth and say that enough is enough and we will not take any more. Or for you to sit in the privacy of your home and know that all this is going on, but you won't do anything about it. And the truth of the matter is that this struggle is an everyday struggle that impacts each and every one of us. How do we put this burden on just a select few of people? The beauty of the civil rights struggle is even though Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and James Baldwin, that men got pushed to the forefront. It was women's work. It was sanitation workers. It was sharecroppers. Come on. It was farmers. It was everyday working class people who didn't have much. Not much education, not much money, but they were determined. They were determined to be free. They were determined to live in a country of their origin and their birth and being able to not only exist here, but thrive. So when I left the studio yesterday and I headed to this rather instant press conference with the NAACP. I was immediately agitated because a consistent tactic of white supremacy is to find the sellout African-American person, find them, whether that is clergy. Yeah, I'm hitting it hard today. Whether that's clergy or some non-factor, non-existent, the NAACP in the city might as well be non-existent. I don't think it has hardly anybody that's under the age of 30. They might as well be non-existent to me. I don't see them handing out food on the west side. Oh, that's Concerned Citizens for Justice. I don't see them handing out food on the south side. That's Brother Kevin Muhammad in the Nation of Islam. I don't see them handing out food. I don't see them getting their hands dirty like that. I don't see them coming as an organization. I don't see them showing up to the city council. I've never met Dr. Woods in my life until yesterday. But she's the leader of a historic African-American organization started by a great man such as W.E.B. Du Bois. And never in my life have I ever seen the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People ever side with the establishment or the police. That was the whole purpose of having a separate organization. Let me say their mission, because maybe Dr. Woods forgot what it was. Maybe she's been so busy, worried about getting reelected to do absolutely nothing for this community, in particular people of color. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, its mission in the 21st century is to ensure political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights of all persons and to eliminate race-based discrimination. The group enlarged its mission in the late 20th century by considering issues such as police misconduct. So if they enlarge their organization off of the basis of police misconduct, how does it become a situation where I find out that there's a press conference and the NAACP, I show up and they have the audacity, the mitigated gall to be holding up an NAACP banner? Now imagine how I feel as a young African-American person, because I've never seen these people doing work in the community, never once heard them talking about justice for anybody. But now they so-called are going to talk about if injustices have occurred. What do you mean if? Did we not watch the video where this man was beaten in handcuffs? We don't need to look at anything else. Nothing else. Nothing. The moment he was placed in handcuffs, he should have been put in a vehicle and taken wherever they were going to take him. End of story, period. Done. No, this sheriff beat him, and nobody cam, because the sheriff never answered that question yesterday. Is there body cam footage? Nobody cam. They thought they were going to get away with it. And the problem is it's not just Officer Blake Kilpatrick, who has been implicated in the assassination of another Hamilton County man before, who was shot, I believe, 17 times. And this man was involved in the shooting by deputies. Of course, they were all cleared. Of course. Nobody ever went to jail, no charges. Everybody was exonerated. How do you shoot a person 17 times and get away with that? I guess you just got to live in Tennessee. And in particular, Hamilton County. That's all we have to do. Just move. If you're looking to get away with police infractions such as murder, rape, DUI, cover-ups, move to Hamilton County. Between Chief Roddy and Jim Hammond, you'll be just fine. And not only will they cover up for you, they'll give you the opportunity to resign so you can continue to draw a pension. Do y'all see how this works? They'll give you special treatment so when you do resign, you can go be an officer somewhere else. And then you can continue to draw a pension from a city you don't even work for. Tell me that's not taking care of scoundrels, scumbags. Those are the real criminals. So you're telling me that you can rape people, you can beat them up, you can drink and drive on duty and you not get arrested, but you have probably arrested people in your career for DUI, and the sheriff's office as well as the police department will cover it up. And then not only are they not going to fire you and put that information into your personnel file, but then they will allow you to draw a pension off of the citizens. Now, can you, to you, the dear listener, can you do that? Will you not be fired from your job if you just show up late? What a sweet deal it must be to be able to be a police officer or a sheriff in Hamilton County and know that you could do all of this stuff resign, go be a police officer somewhere else, and still run off with the city's money. And that's not corruption, good people. That's not corruption. If that's not corruption, I don't know what is. Shooting a person 17 times, never losing your job, no criminal charges. And then we see you a couple of years later. Now you're beating up somebody in handcuffs who can't fight back. And people have the audacity to say, because he wrote in a statement, Mr. Tax bit my finger. Really? Really? And this man's not fired. He's not fired. He's not put on administrative leave without pay. Only in the South, in Hamilton County, can you beat the snot out of a man, collapse his lung, break 2 of his ribs, fracture his nose, break his finger. He has lacerations and bruises all over his body from his face to his toes. And the only thing that they can do to you is put you on desk duty. Desk duty. This guy supposedly bit you. Of course I would bite you if you're kicking me, or he probably didn't bite. Did we not see him punching him in the face? So I'm sure he probably slid his hands or his fingers across this man's teeth when he was punching him in the face, fracturing his nose. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to me. Make sure you turn your volume down.
Lori, they had a chance to get ahead of this, and they chose not to do it. And what I mean by get ahead of it is, when you see the video, say, listen, this guy right now is being suspended with no pay until further investigation. We're looking at criminal charges, and we're going to turn it over to the feds. And you know how much I don't like federal intervention. But there's one thing the feds are required to do, and that's under the Constitution, and that's to ensure a Republican form of government. And there's a reason for that. A Republican form of government, you'll see it in the Constitution, is a representative system. So when the authorities that you elect or hire no longer represent, that's when the feds step in, like they did in the days of the Old West, and they ensure that representative government will be reestablished in that county. And that's when they use the feds. No one ever talks about this. The other thing is, the gentleman that was beaten up, when I saw the video, had a long rap sheet. But that's not relevant. I had a discussion with my other half about that. I don't care what his rap sheet, how long it is, if they make things up. When someone's handcuffed, you don't kick him and beat him. And even if they're resisting, it's because maybe they're disoriented. Leave them alone. Let them wiggle around on the ground or cuff their feet, but you don't kick them and hit them. Where I come from, if you do that, you get a whooping.
Exactly. And that's the end of the story. It should never, thank you so much for your comments, Mike Steele. I appreciate you. It should never be a situation where a person is in handcuffs and they're getting beaten. Period. Angel, you can call in 800-8949. Just remember to watch your language if you're calling in on the show. I know people are upset, and I get it. But if you call in, please, don't want them to pull my show because I'm very important to this city because I covered all of the things that people are too sensitive to talk about. And I got something to say to.
You almost had it. You got to be quicker than that.
That's you got to be quicker than that, news outlets. You got to be quicker than that. Y'all picked up this story way too late. We already broke the story. We already had Tax on an interview and everything. And then to see and part of this is media is complicit in a lot of this stuff that happens. I've seen news reporters who have come to my station asking stupid questions like, is he resisting? Like, how dare you try to bait this story for your benefit? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Talk to me.
Good morning. It's Angela Vade.
What's going on? Talk to me.
Okay. So real quick, I just want to say shout out to you. I love what you're doing with your platform to raise awareness in our community.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I've seen the video myself, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that we get the right coverage that is needed. And also, that I don't care how long his rap sheet is. I don't care what he did. Once he was in handcuffs, he could not defend himself, and you've seen that he was not trying to fight back. Exactly. He wasn't trying to fight back. What was he doing? Screaming for help. He was screaming for help, and he had major injuries. And I want to know who's going to pay for his medical. Who's going to pay for his medical? Who's going to help him? And he's also he feeds the homeless. He's a father. He's an activist in our community. I think he's doing wonderful things. I did my research on him. I'm going to reach out to him to interview him for my show. But I just want to say, Maria, I just love what you're doing, and thank you for raising awareness in our community. No problem. I appreciate you. It's nothing but love, because I love my city, and I love the people in it. It doesn't matter who you are. If you stand up for what is right, I have no choice but to rock with you. We are not going to agree on everything, and that's cool. But I have no choice but to rock with you, because we are all connected. Dr. Martin Luther King stated from his letters from a Birmingham jail, and I need people to read, because the more you read, you need to read the Constitution so you can understand why you wouldn't make stupid statements like he needs to stop resisting if you understand what due process is. You wouldn't make stupid statements like that. You need to read, people. Reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental. And understand, I'm gonna hit you where it hurts. Just because you're white doesn't mean you're the only person that deserves justice in this country. Yes, I know it's difficult for that to be swallowed, but Black people too deserve justice. Yes, we're not all criminals. Yes, we do deserve due process. Yes, we deserve to be believed. And yes, we too deserve not to be tased to death or beaten in handcuffs. It's sad that I'm at 30 in 2018, I have to make that statement that even Black people too deserve to be respected. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
A bomb threat shut down a Lafayette factory last night. Walker County Sheriff's Office says that a note was found at the Roper Corporation over in Lafayette warning of a bomb placed somewhere in the building. It was evacuated. The bomb squad moved in and gave the all clear. Now they're working to find out who left the note with the bomb threat. A woman on a midnight stroll was gunned down on West 38th Street. The Chattanooga police say that she was already on her way to the hospital when they got to the crime scene. She told officers that she was just walking along the street when she was hit by a hot slug. Police are trying to track down who fired that round. The district attorney's office has confirmed the arrest case for Charles Toney, a.k.a. Interstate Tax, has been referred to the U.S. Justice Department. Sheriff Jim Hammond confirmed the deputy shown punching rapper Charles Toney was put on desk duty. Russell Stroud, Nooga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News. Now,
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Hey folks, Jeff Stiles here. So proud that you're listening to the flame-throwing, butt-kicking, mini-bite-chain-eating talk radio whoop-ass. Ever wondered about that name? Fred, the show. Nobody here named Fred, just the name of the show. Free radio every day. Freedom of thought, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Costs you nothing to listen, costs you nothing to call. 800-8949. That's 800-8949. Entertaining information, informative entertainment. Found right here on Nooga Radio.
92.7. Are you looking for a new adventure? Have you watched viral videos of top 10 new inventions to try? Been frustrated that you can't actually find them? There's a new company in Chattanooga that's working to bring you some of the best and coolest new adventure gear to experience on land, water, and in virtual reality. At Adventure Sports Innovation, everyone can find an experience that matches their ability and adrenaline level. Check out AdventureSportsInnovation.com on the web and bring your group to visit ASI at 191 River Street, directly across from Coolidge Park.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga roofing contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com. for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. This is your sandwich speaking. Yeah, your sandwich. And you know, you can't find me any place but the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop. Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, just off 153 on Shaliford Road. It's in the little plaza. Hey, check out these buns. Yeah, they're Amorosa. All the way from Philly. So bite me. You want a real Philly cheesesteak? Check out my meat. Throw some cheese on it and grilled onions. Oh, yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. Only at the Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, where you'll always get the real taste of a Philadelphia cheesesteak. Plus hoagies, burgers, sandwiches, salads, fresh cut fries, tater tots, and other stuff. Mad Philly Sandwich Shop, just off 153 on Shaliford Road, right across from Mountain View Service Center. It's in the little plaza. Hey, come on, we're waiting for you here. So just shut up and eat it.
Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Looking much better out there for your afternoon. Lots of sunshine, highs settling into the upper 40s tonight. Skies remaining fair, lows upper 20s to near 30. Partly cloudy Wednesday, still looking dry for a while. Highs 50 to 53. Continued dry with some more clouds Thursday. Experience the wonder of Ruby Falls Christmas Underground on a magical interactive journey to visit Santa at the North Pole. For tickets and more details, go to rubyfalls.com. And I'm Snorgene Qualls, Chief Meteorologist, Niagara 4.
The radio 92.7.
Oh, it's that familiar voice. That's right, your wartime consigliere, Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show, talking about why do they keep selling us down the river? Because they got to keep the corruption scheme going, and we gave them the opportunity. Oh, man, but it's now time for the people to make demands. I got a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead and talk to me this morning. Good morning to you. You still with me?
Good morning. My name is Dewan. Yep.
All right. Talk to me.
My name is Dewan Harper. Just earlier this year, I went through the same thing. And through it, I met a couple of people, Alan DeBerry, and, you know, just the whole situation, what we went through at the college graduation party back in May, it was like, I don't know, it's like you could sense the hostility upon the police officers, and it's like, I feel like they got to do better, and it's just, I don't know, it's like the police officers, they come out with a mentality of, aggression, like, it's some pent up anger that they be having within this system or something. I don't know what it is with it that they have to take it on us as black men and minority. Like, I guess they hate to see us trying to strive to be better and us working towards the things that we want to have. And like, even if some of the things we do end up being wrong, but I don't know what it is with these people. Like,
I can tell you what it is. And this is why I've covered race on this show. And thank you so much for your comments, man. I'm with you. Okay. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm with you.
Yep.
I can tell you what it is. We were never supposed to be free in this country. We were brought over here as chattel slaves. Don't get it twisted. We were chattel slaves. What does chattel mean? Because when people talk about slavery, there's different types of slavery. And this is why I say people have to read. There's feudalism. There's serfdom. Come on. There's indentured servitude. There's levels. Like Meek Mill said, it's levels to this. It's levels to slavery. Slavery is different depending on the culture, the time. But when we talk about American, Caribbean, England slavery, when we're talking about chattel slavery, We're talking about black people who were bought and sold at will. There were farms spread throughout the South where the only purposes that they had black people corridored in houses was for breeding purposes, for you to make more slaves. Come on now. You could get married in secret as a slave, but your wife was the property of her master. And so he could do whatever he wanted to do with your wife or even your children or even you. There's stories and documentation of slave masters who raped men, black men. Understand, we were never supposed to be free in this country. And unfortunately, there's always been this line that has to be drawn in the sand where white people are over here, black people are over here. And even though when you look at a person like me who's light skinned and understand that I have a large European DNA history, and you could tell by my complexion that at some point in my lineage, somebody was raped. They didn't have the permission to get married. They were raped. Then you understand that, especially in the South, a lot of us, whether we all kind of realize it or not, are related in some sort of way. And so there's always this attempt to never have people work together and fight the bigger war, which is class war. As long as we have race war, we'll never get to class war. That's the real fight. Class war, that's the real fight. Racism is not really the real fight. Racism is not something that's happened since the beginning of time. Race was something that was created as a categorization that if you were labeled as a Negro or a black person, that meant as long as you fit in that category, you were a slave, you were chattel, you were to be sold, you were to be beaten, you were to be worked for free. And so imagine, is it possible for us to even imagine a world where we didn't have jails? We didn't have jails. There was a world where people lived in peace. You look at Songhai, you look at ancient Ghana. African people lived for thousands of years in peace. Did you know that? Would you believe it if somebody told you? America can't have peace. Because if we have peace, that means people are working together, and people can't work together because if they work together, then they'll realize the bigger scheme. The bigger scheme is the rich against the poor. Come on, the rich against the poor. And so as long as we keep the scheme going, we'll keep them all poor. We'll just keep white people a little less poor than the black folk or the Hispanic folk. But the black people going to be at the bottom. Hispanic people going to be right above that. Come on. Everybody else that's the ethnicity is going to be above that. And then we have white people who are experiencing a lot of the same things, because police brutality doesn't just happen to black people. It happens to white people too. I've covered stories. James Brumlow killed on his way to work. Father of 4, married, left his entire family behind because of a drunk former sheriff. And who buried the story? Who covered it up? The sheriff. The sheriff killed that man on his way to work. And not only they reduced his bail. I've been talking about this for a long time. And some of you have been tuning in for a while. And then some of you guys are just now catching up. But people, there's a problem. And the problem is not really with the people. The problem that is the people is the fact that we're poor and we lack opportunity. And that's intentional in the city. We're poor. We lack opportunity. If we had better education, if we had better jobs with better pay, if we had better opportunity, a lot of this violence would cease. It would go away. But that means the prisons would sit empty and they have minimums that they have. Come on. Do we see the bigger scheme? The bigger scheme? me play this. Let me play this clip of I had to label it sellouts yesterday. There's a whole lot of sellouts in this clip.
We know that we're going to have to get a solution at some point in time very soon in order to keep the peace in this community. And that's why we're here.
But the one thing is unmistakable. He was in handcuffs. And that's the only thing I'm willing to say at this point. That's clear to everybody.
This is not the first incident that has transpired here in our area. These incidents are very sensitive, not only to law enforcement, but to the public and to regular citizens.
And we kind of let the chips where they fall.
We are pleased that the sheriff, he's been proactive in responding to Dr. Woods and the NAACP in addressing this.
And here's my response to how I felt about that.
Hell no! Hell on.
Man, what do you mean? How dare the NAACP? So if you watched the clip yesterday, it's on the Nuga Radio 92.7 FM page. If you have not seen it, if you're a friend of mine, I got it. I had to rush down to the quote unquote press conference. How you having a press conference and you haven't talked to the victim, I don't know. How you're having a press conference, you haven't talked to any of the witnesses, I don't know. How you're part of a organization that is for the advancement of colored people, not criminal police, I don't know. Come on. Is that what the NAACP is for Chattanooga? The National Association of the Advancement of Criminal Policing? Is that what the NAACP stands for? I thought of that off the top of my head, y'all. Come on. Is that what it stands for? We're aiding and abetting criminals? Could we aid and abet criminals who have committed these atrocities? No, you would go to prison. But how do the police get to do this? I'm gonna hit people where it hurts because we've let them. We got to own up to that. We've let them get away with far too much. Have we not counted up all of the problems going on in the city of Chattanooga? We need to end cash bail. Have we done that? No. Sheriff Hammond, not only should we recall your seat and you should be fired, but sir, when are you going to end that contract with CCA Silverdale and having the county be complicit in locking people up intentionally, knowing that the majority of people that live in this county are poor? Come on now. Have we not seen when we approached the mayor said there's no problem with the Chattanooga Police Department. Is he blind? But everybody loved taking pictures with Andy. They love dapping him up. They love sitting down with him, saying, oh, our mayor is so great. Really? He's ending homelessness, even though he said homelessness for veterans was already ended. He single-handedly, what a narcissist. He single-handedly ended homelessness, but he now has a war on homelessness. Come on. There was this whole RICO sweep that illegally charged people double bond, double bail to get out of jail. Do you know that that's illegal? UTC in the county. It's funny how all these, I should have asked the county, those raggedy county commissioners that we had up there yesterday. Do you guys plan on paying that $5 million you owe to the city of Chattanooga anytime soon? When are y'all going to cut the check? Because our children need things to do, and our streets need to get paved, and we need to raise the wage of city workers. When are y'all going to cut the check of what y'all owe to the city of Chattanooga? That maybe should have been a good question for yesterday, on top of why were they there in the first place? Warren Mackey should have been standing with East Chattanooga community constituents when the city of Chattanooga decided to have the zoning for Harriet Tubman, 44 acres owned by the public, into a manufacturing zoning. Come on. We're going to have a disparity study. Like we don't know it's disparity. We know it's disparity. Why do I need to go to a study about that? The question is, what is the council going to do about the disparity, or the mayor going to do about the disparity? Because up until this point, they've done nothing. Come on. We're going to act like in June we didn't see Avery Gray's daughter get dragged out of her mother's car by her wrist. Diana Watt get dragged out of her car by her wrists and her arms. We're going to act like we didn't see Jesse Parker with the CPD and the ATF running his house with no warrant and demand that him, his daughter, his son-in-law, and 6 grandchildren come outside with guns pointed at babies. We're going to act like that didn't happen. We're going to act like we didn't have several women come forward and name Officer Desmond Logan as their perpetrator, and that the Chattanooga Times caught the chief of police in a lie stating that nobody came forward. And we found out that they came forward as early as 2015 and the chief is still working. We're going to act like that didn't happen. See, I got these stories in the back of my head because I've talked to these folks. We're going to act like Noah McLemore wasn't dragging a cigarette outside of his shoe shop on Highway 58 when an officer racially profiled him. We're going to act like the gentleman who supposedly, still questioning this, shot himself in the head, but he was shot by another officer. We're going to act like the Chattanooga Police Department and this officer didn't come out with contradicting statements and nobody ever asked any follow-up questions. This has happened. This has happened because we've allowed it. And I got to be real. I can call everybody into accountability, but the people have to be held accountable too. We've sat back and we've allowed this stuff to happen. Because for some of us, we feel like if it's not our folks, if it's not our friends, if it's not somebody from our street or neighborhood, it's not impacting me. Until it gets so out of hand, it becomes the people on your street. It becomes the people in your neighborhood. It becomes the person that you know. We're caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Those are the words of Dr. Martin Luther King while he sat in a Birmingham jail. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. We are all in this together. We're all connected, dear people. And what happens to one? This is his words. This is this man's words. What happens to one directly, indirectly affects us all. And so if we allow this little bit to happen right over here, don't think that it will not happen to you. It's only a matter of time. My grandmother would tell me all the time, baby, if you give people an inch, they'll always take a mile. And the problem is that we've put Chattanooga on a pedestal, and there's nothing wrong because this is a good city and this is a city with so much potential. Our city is filled with people with potential, geniuses, artists, outspoken people. We could have some of the best people coming out of this city, representing in so many different ways. Chattanooga should be the technological mecca of the Eastern Seaboard. We could do that. But you know what? If you get put on the pedestal, that means everybody's looking at you. And you got to set a good example. And so I'm not surprised if we allowed all this stuff to happen from the CPD that eventually it wouldn't spread to the sheriff's department. I'm not surprised. That's human nature. It's human nature. We allow power to go unchecked when all of the power belongs to the people. If we say that, then we have to believe that. And then we have to exercise that all power belongs to the people and comes from the people. It was only a matter of time if we started a panhandling ordinance that Ringo would take it to the next level, talking about we're just going to lock up homeless people. Talk about kicking somebody when they're down. But let's not even forget. See, this is why I love my job. Because I get to do research and then get on the air and kick people in the balls all the time. Hammond says his aim is to run gang members out of town, not give them grace, not give them jobs, not give them education or skilled labor training. He says his aim is to run gang members out of town and to put them in jail or send them to the funeral home. Let me say that again. Sheriff Jim Hammond, who is duly elected by the people, said his aim was to run gang members out of town, put them in jail, or send them to the funeral home. Is it any surprise that he would cover up anything that happened to a black man in Hamilton County, or just to poor people? What do we do, Maureen? It's time for independent oversight into the Chattanooga Police Department. Chattanooga Police Department has done more than the sheriff's office, but we have to start there. We have to start in our backyard. We have to start home base first. We need independent oversight and community control right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another, and we have nothing to lose but our chains. 6 o'clock, meet me at City Council, 1000 Lindsay Street. We are demanding independent oversight into the Chattanooga Police Department. A board entirely made up of community members and even felons. We, the people have the power. And it's time for us to take our streets, our neighborhoods, our communities, take our schools, take everything back that belongs to us. Who does this city belong to? It belongs to you and me. It doesn't belong to them. This is our city, our town. And have we had enough? I've had enough. Fannie Lou Hamer said, ain't nobody, I got to say it like I'm a Southern, ain't nobody free unless we're all free. There's no partial freedom. There's no second class citizenship. We're either free or we're slaves, simple and plain. And so who are we? Are we going to be slaves or are we going to be free folk? And you know what? Freedom comes with responsibility. Do we want to be free? Do we want liberty? Come on. Oh, man. I'm sweating because I'm ready. I'm on fire. My soul is on fire. It's going down. 6 o'clock, 1000 Lindsay Street. Meet me there and demand independent community control into the police. If no one has taken the time today to tell you that they love you, I love you, and it's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio, Digital FM 95.3 HD4, 92.7 FM's news now.
A bomb threat shut down a Lafayette factory last night. Walker County Sheriff's Office says that a note was found at the Roper Corporation over in Lafayette warning of a bomb placed somewhere in the building. It was evacuated. The bomb squad moved in and gave the all clear. Now they're working to find out who left the note with the bomb threat. A woman on a midnight stroll was gunned down on West 38th Street. The Chattanooga police say that she was already on her way to the hospital when they got